Anybody who's watched this channel for the entirety of this season knows me and Aaron Rodgers are not on the same page. Now, this used to be what I would intro Pete Carroll with, but hey, I was wrong about Pete Carroll. And so far, it looks like I'm pretty right about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers takes no responsibility for anything wrong with the Green Bay Packers. He points fingers, he blames everybody else but himself, and he refuses to change, okay? He's going against the Detroit Lions this week. I think the Detroit Lions are going to win. The Green Bay Packers would then be 3-6 so far this season, and it's not going to get easier. They still have a pretty difficult schedule from here on out. They're not going to make the playoffs, which obviously means they're not winning another Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers is not going to win another MVP. They didn't go out and get him any help at the trade deadline, so they're not backing him. They're not going out and bringing in assets to support Aaron Rodgers. If this season continues to roll,
they did offer a second for Claypool,
but they didn't get him. Is the whole
because
they can offer all they want
because they thought the Bears pick would be higher.
Then why didn't they throw in like a sixth? If they truly believed in Aaron Rodgers, they would have helped him out one way or another. They would have given up a 6th round pick next season.
They haven't done it over his entire career.
But what I'm saying is, at this point, with all those things considered, is Aaron Rodgers going to retire at the end of the season?
No.
I think he's done.
I think
he should have retired at the end of last season, if not the year before that, because I think mentally he's done. As soon as he hit the Jeopardy set, he's done with football. And obviously, like, it was a joke at the time that, like, oh, look at this guy, he's a better Jeopardy host than he's a quarterback, which obviously isn't true. Like, he has so much talent. But football requires you to be all in all the time. I mean, I don't want to harp on this too much because I don't want to sound like an old person, but you just look at how he carries himself. Like, looking at his hair, looking at his facial hair throughout the years, he just looks disheveled.
He's a hippie.
But he looks disheveled more than like when he's in the commercials, the State Farm commercials where he's all looking all pretty and stuff. He's got a frown on his face every time you see him. You never really see him smiling, and it affects the team.
I see him smiling when he's on Pat McAfee Show every Tuesday.
It's when he's talking about what drug he took to win MVP.
Actually, no. So he talked about before. I didn't see this week's, but last week I saw the episode right before they played, and he was talking about how him and the receivers need to get on the same page. How it's been little mental miscues between his
instead of saying that, he needs to say, I need to do a better job at building a relationship with my receivers. Don't put the responsibility on 22-year-old Christian Watson, 23-year-old Romeo Doubs. It's your responsibility. 38-year-old Aaron Rodgers, that is your responsibility to do that.
I'm not arguing with you there. I think that him not throwing a pass all offseason, him not going and working with his receivers on the offseason, knowing all year or all offseason he's going to be without Devontae Adams. And
before it even happened, he knew.
And you know that you're going to be there with Allen Lazard as your number one. You know that Randall Cobb's going to be your number two. I like Randall Cobb, but look at him. He hasn't played 3 games because of injury. Allen Lazard is always injured, and I love him too, but he's a mid receiver, if that. Like, your best receiver on your team right now is probably Romeo Doubs, and he's having an MVS type of season where he's dropping it every other pass.
Yeah, like he looks good some games, but then you're reminded there's a reason this guy was a 6th-round pick or whatever he was.
He kind of looked really good last week. I mean, just like the passes that he was cashing where he just completely was like, yeah, that's mine. Like, that showed flashes of, like, damn, this kid can, be something.
He's decent. Their receiving core is decent.
It's not. I wouldn't even say decent.
But that was me being kind. Aaron Rodgers doesn't trust them. The front office doesn't trust Aaron. Aaron doesn't.
Every offseason, it's another thing with him, and it's just like.
And even during this, not even just the offseason, it's always during the season. Whenever. He's asked reporters, what happened here? Oh, well, you see, I don't really like the play calling there. Like, remember when he just kept audibling out of the play calls? What was it, I think 2 years ago? He was just completely ignoring the coach's play call and deciding to run the show himself. They got the number 1 seed. What happened afterwards? And I don't care how many MVPs you win. I don't care how many times you get to a number 1 seed. You know who won MVP? You know who got a number 1 seed? Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, is he a Hall of Famer? It's really on the edge for me. It's not a conversation for that, but it is on the edge for me. I don't know.
I'm on the same page.
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers obviously is a Hall of Famer, but what's he really known for? He's got 1 Super Bowl. Him and Tom Brady have the same amount of Super Bowls in the NFC. He's got a few MVPs. Ooh. He's got a few individual awards. He's got a few individual stats. He's got one of the best completion percentages in league history. For the amount of passes he's thrown, he has an incredibly low amount of interceptions. Other than that, what has he done? What he's done is moan, complain, shrug your shoulders, walk in with a pointing the fingers mindset. And he is clearly not 100% all in on football. Why continue to drag yourself through this? You don't have the weapons. Look at how much they're down 3 scores last week and say, hey, Aaron Jones, here you go. I mean, hey, my fantasy team, please keep doing it. But trying to win ball games?
I mean, I just got Aaron Jones in another fantasy league.
So
I mean,
we're happy with it.
Keep doing that.
But that's what you're doing? Down 3 scores in the third and fourth quarter? That's what you're doing? All these things combined, and the fact that he's just in general not playing too great this year. He's not playing horribly, but like he hasn't done anything Aaron Rodgers-esque. He still throws a beautiful football. Like he has one of the prettiest of throws because he kind of just flicks it. And it goes where it's supposed to go. Perfect spiral. Has a good arm still. That hasn't really abandoned him yet. He's got the physical traits. He's got the NFL know-how. But he hasn't even sniffed a Super Bowl in how many years? How much longer does he just keep forcing himself to do this?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the only real reason that I say he doesn't retire is because of the money. He's still owed like 30-something million next year. And then the year after that, he's owed another 20-something million. Now, the past couple of off seasons, he's made noise about how he wants to restructure his contract. Literally, he got a raise last year, then complained and got another raise this year, and then they actually offered Devontae Adams even more money than the Raiders did, but he just sensed the dysfunction. Think about that. Like you're the number 1 receiver in the league. You have the best connection with your quarterback in the league. You literally just had back-to-back MVP quarterback, but you're like, nah. Like instead of being the top 3 team in the NFC, you're gonna go and be a bottom team in the.
You're gonna
AFC.
go to a team that their coach was fired mid-season because of emails that were leaked. They've had multiple players get arrested on the team. It's a mess of a team. You bring in Josh McDaniels, who is he a good coach? Probably
he is not a head coach.
But
bro.
at the time, it was just unknown. And I'm honestly, you could probably say the same with LaFleur. I'm not sure if LaFleur is a good coach.
Yeah, because if you think about it, outside of Rodgers, like, okay, yeah, you could say Rodgers completely responsible for that for that offense, but why aren't the receivers running the correct routes? Why aren't, like, you can't put that solely on Rodgers. I put a lot of it on Rodgers because he's supposed to be the mentor for them, but there's mental miscues, and it's not even just on offense. It's on defense, too. Like, outside of Jair Alexander, that defense is bad. And they just let Zadarius Smith walk to the Vikings, and he's tied for the sack lead.
Oh, my gosh. He's done great for them so far. Like, I was actually initially disappointed with the Vikings that they didn't do more. I really undersold how the Zadarius Smith signing would be for that defense. I thought they were going to go out and get Bradley Chubb, and then I'd be like, whoa, they can contend with the Eagles in the NFC. And I still think they can do so. But they're miles and miles better than the Green Bay Packers, and it's not even a question. Kirk Cousins is hungry. Kirk Cousins wants to get rid of the mindset people have. Kirk Cousins wants to get rid of the mindset people have of what they think when they think Kirk Cousins. And the only way he can do that is by winning in the playoffs, which he really has in his entire career.
Kirk Cousins in 1 p.m. games is just like, yes, my fantasy team loves you.
Like, but when the lights are on him, when it's nighttime, when the lights shine the brightest, Kirk Cousins folds. Aaron Rodgers also kind of folds because the last year in the first round when they lost to the 49ers, they had no business losing that game. You score 1 touchdown on the first drive and then you just pack it in for the rest of the game. That is what Aaron Rodgers is. I think if the season continues to go how it goes, I think he's done. Now, they did say the one caveat that I will extend is that they basically gave him full permission that after this year, he can do whatever he wants. He's still going to have that contract. So whatever team gets him is going to be done so through trade. What compensation would you even get back for Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. But he will have the opportunity to move on to a different team this offseason if he so chooses.
So, now, just because someone in our group brought this up, what if he does go to the Jets?
Somebody bring that up? Marcelo?
Marcelo.
Of course he did.
given, it's not the worst.
I think that'd
thought
be really bad
for the Jets.
I think well, all things considered, because you just look at the mentality around the Jets. Like, if you went to the Giants, where like, oh, it's the gravitas of the Giants. I mean, obviously, I've had all these Giants fans yelling at me. Like, the Giants are hungry. They want to win. The Jets, kind of a depressing team. A depressing team, depressing quarterback. I don't know if that's the best combination.
Yeah, I don't know if Saleh makes it past next year if they don't make the playoffs.
I don't know, but what I do think is that if things continue to roll out this year, what I do think is if things continue to roll out this year, that Aaron Rodgers will be done with the Green Bay Packers.